Norm MacLaren. Norm, how you doing? Well, I know those prayer lines have been something very special to you, as you've had opportunity to encourage people to call every day on 100 Huntley Street, and it's been close to almost 11 years.
Almost 11, and it's been a daily journey of expectation, and every day people come to Jesus, and that's the good news about all this. Yeah.
Well, Norm, you wrote an article, as I mentioned, in our Compass magazine. It was called "Seasons of Change," and it was kind of a change of seasons that's happening. It can be sad in one way, but very exciting in other ways.
Yeah, it's mixed emotions, and you know, you work with so many wonderful people here day in and day out, and I'm really going to miss driving down the QEW every morning, just beating the traffic and all that stuff. But you know what? It is seasonal. Our lives are. Ruth and I have been through many changes, many seasons over the years. 5 years ago, I was 55 at the time, and I told you that when I hit 60, we would need to talk, and so that for about 18 months leading up before August, I was just getting that little unsettled thing happening, and I tried to avoid that with everything that's within me, because I know when the Lord starts to do that, and I don't like it, and then I went to you in August and said, you know what, we're 6 months away basically from 60, and we need to talk. Well, we made 2 or 3 or 4 attempts before we could get down to it, because now I'm going to start. And we would get in his office, and the next thing you know, we're tears and all the rest of it, but it has to happen. Excuse me, because I just feel like, you know what, the Lord has got things that none of us know about. I don't know what all the future holds. I don't think we'll stray too far away from the connecting points of Huntley Street, because I can't. This is family. It's part of one's life. It's part of the life of this nation in many, many ways. And every day people come to know Jesus through that whole effort here. It's a team thing. But if we don't change, if we don't go forward, we stagnate. And the worst thing that you will ever happen in your life, all you wonderful viewers, is to stay in one position, never risk anything. And sometimes God will shove you out of your comfort zone. Sometimes you may not willingly want to go, but He can shove you out. But the biggest thing is, fear will always try to attack you, even at your most confident moments. However, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And it's in those times you've got to go back to Isaiah 43:1 and start realizing that we depend on Him. He is the source. He is the influence that we have. And, I look back over the years when your dad made that decision, really before he had anticipated of stepping aside from the ministry and was dealing in other things politically and otherwise in this nation. Then Cal. Cal came to us from the chicken coop every day, and Cal, went on and still going. He's 100 years old, folks, and he's still out there going.
No, he's not. Cal Bombay is not 100 years old.
But there's Cal, in his late 60s, out there doing his thing in the Sudan and all the rest of it. And the joy of being here, with Lorna and Rhonda, and now with Moira. Moira is a piece of work all of her own. and I hear her she's barking at me over there in the studio. and then with you guys, it's been a journey that has been one of the great highlights of my life. I've had wonderful churches where I've pastored. We've had more experiences than the average person will ever have. But being here has connected us with a lot of you across the country. When I walk into a place, into churches, sometimes people stop you in a store or a restaurant. I get saved watching Huntley Street. My son or my daughter came to know we have a precious lady here whose son was influenced because of what happens here at Huntley Street, gave his heart to the Lord before he passed away. Just found that out this morning. And so there's all kinds of things that happen here. And a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes. People get to see 1 hour of the day that happens here. And folks, it's exciting. It's never still. It's not always easy, but it's good.
Well, Norm, we want to honor you. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I know many viewers, as you say, there is a connection there like family.
It is.
When you go out, people will recognize you. You go into so many churches of all denominations. You get invited to minister. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back, because we have a little clip. We want to show a few highlights through the years. And the very first time actually you were on, I think we'll start the clip, which is back, I don't know, almost 30 years or so, when you were on with Ruth, and you were talking about a miracle story about your twins.
You got that here?
Well, let's
have a look.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights through the years.
All right.
I saw the twins in the incubation units there. They had lights, they had little masks on them, putting oxygen in them. They had holes cut into their armpits, and they had little tubes going in, but not much bigger than the size of a pen refill. Their lungs were completely perforated. They had jaundice, and the doctor told us that if the perforation of the lungs wouldn't be enough to kill them, he said that the jaundice probably would. However, God has, as you can see, miraculously undertaken and has done a tremendous miracle in our lives and in our home and in our own faith. But then after we got the children...
I think she's giving the Lord a hand there. How about you giving her and the Lord a hand too? How about that?
Thank you. You see, this is not fairy tale stuff that we're sharing here today. This is the truth that Jesus Christ has never changed. This is why He's the one you can trust. And I know there's all kinds of religions and people are going after this thing and that thing and this theology and that God and something else. I want to be connected with the one who's still doing miracles today, the one who loves on you. There you can see on the screen the feeding line coming in, and that one particular picture there, that's just a beginning line, and we had over 2,000 people that were fed just in that day. Well, there I am standing in front of the workers there. Some of the Vancouver crowd is there, some of our own that came with me, and
distributing a lot of groceries.
They were packing boxes to be distributed to the people who drive in. There I am up in the back of a tractor trailer, and that load just came in, supplied by 100 Huntley Street and all of our partners, bringing in food for people that are so in need. When people call those prayer lines, you're really sharing with another witness. And that confession is sound, it is solid, and when you cry out to the Lord Jesus Christ, He hears you. So let me urge you, you have that emptiness in your life, let someone encourage you and pray with you, and a big, big change is going to come into your heart. This lady was really going through a lot of stuff and gave her heart to the Lord Jesus Christ. This is the beginning of a walk of new life.
Yeah! Bring it on! Woo! Norm MacLaren, storming Norm MacLaren. Look at that thing. I'm a little envious here. I'm just wearing the normal man's clothes. You are kind of like the Terminator even. You know what I mean? You've got the gear, the chaps.
When I get this stuff on, I just look at my wife and say, climb right up there and tell me when you're on.
Woo, look at that thing. Woo.
Now, let me tell you how you do this. You see, you get them in the pan, you heat them up, then you get a 11-grain bread. You got to have a good, chunky bread.
Hearty bread.
And put real butter on it, not this margarine stuff, but the real butter, cholesterol fix, all right? Then you pour these over the top of the bread when they're nice and hot, a little bit of white vinegar, salt and pepper, glass of milk. Yes! It
You're
works.
kidding me.
Norm, is your cookbook coming out next?
I wouldn't
You sound like you've just taken over this cooking
Well,
thing.
I'm telling you right now, I've been seeing cooking shows.
Wait, you guys really don't need me. You guys are doing good.
I've been watching cooking shows. I have seen
Please
the
come
cookbooks,
back.
but I've never heard a better recipe for beans than what mine is. All right, I just want you to know that.
Right. And we thought he didn't know beans about stuff. Well, there we go. That's a little look back.
We absolutely spoofed her. She had no idea I was going to do that. I did tell Ron. I said I'm going to do something, and I didn't fully tell him what was going to happen that day.
Oh, well, we've had a lot of fun through the years, and it's been wonderful. It's we're gonna miss it. You've already offered to say, I'd love to come back during the membership drive in April, and you said jumped on that. Yeah, Norm, come on back, and we can have you encourage the calls from the east, as you often do in our membership drive. So thank you for that.
Well, you know what? It's been such a journey, and going back to that original clip there with Ruth and the twins and Kim on there. well, I had hair, you know, and those big glasses. I don't know where they ever went to, but however. But you know what? Change.
Yeah.
Things change. We don't stay the same, and that's what this is about. And but the one thing that's always constant, the one that never changes, God says in His Word, He is the one who changes not. That's why you can trust Him. That's why this gospel works. It's good news. And when you get saved, you got to tell it. I mean, I can't keep it. And so, you know, Ruth and I were going to kind of hook up and travel across the country a little bit and try to preach here and there if people will have us.